Hello. The first issue of DC KO drops literally tomorrow morning, so I'm chucking this video together very last minute just to get my bracket predictions locked in before the event properly kicks off. I'm going to fly through this as quick as I can, but just to clarify, all my results are based on the last year of all-in comic releases. Scott Snyder and Joshua Williamson are spearheading and crafting this overarching narrative, and these are the characters I think they've set up to win. This is not a power scaling video, and there will be spoilers for matchups that have already been teased officially by DC. So if you don't want any spoilers, just click off now. With that out of the way, let's jump in. So this is the bracket. 32 combatants duking it out in a no-holds-barred brawl to collect as much Omega energy as possible and crown themselves King Omega. What's that? Well, we're not really sure yet, but long story very short, they need this title to defeat Darkseid. Darkseid is a new god and a cosmic force who wants to rule the multiverse and is powered by this Omega energy. Last October, he destroyed himself to become one with an entire new universe, overwhelming every atom with his energy and evil. He's now even stronger than before and is travelling back to Prime Earth to destroy our heroes and the Justice League once and for all. Darkseid and his forces have already destroyed or corrupted every possible future timeline. There are no other options than this. The heroes and villains devise a tournament to generate Omega energy. The more brutal the fights, the more energy they acquire. Each combatant is allowed to bring one weapon or item of power to aid them. This is probably how some characters are going to win fights that they definitely shouldn't. Now, the Earth has been evacuated. Hundreds of heroes and villains are ready to fight. The Battle Royale begins. When the dust settles, these 32 remain. Here are my predictions. Even whilst holding back, Superman takes this fight easily. As cool as it would be to see a Kryptonian versus Kryptonian in the next round, Captain Atom beats Power Girl. He's made from living energy, and in the Atom Project miniseries, he's now able to absorb, copy, and gift any superpower at will, which makes him ridiculously strong. Firestorm hasn't been an important character in any comic story over the last year, and Guy was in the Superman film, so Guy wins this one. Whilst Cheetah is ridiculously fast, you can't eliminate the first ever Flash in round 1. Jay Garrick has existed since 1940, and he's representing the Old Guard and the JSA. He's going to put up a hell of a fight. Aquaman is beyond broken at this point. In his current ongoing series, he's killed a god, become a god, is being set up as a vessel to contain and use Omega energy specifically, and also has command of the Blue. Slight tangent, but in the DC universe, there's loads of crazy powerful cosmic forces, but the most important for this tournament is the Blue, which is the power of all oceans in the entire universe, and the Green, which is the power of all plant life. A bit more on that later, but for this round, Aquaman wins easily. Neither of these are winning the next round, so I'll just give it to Hawkman just for brutality. I'm not actually sure how these next two fights are going to play out. All I know is that Lex and the Demon Etrigan win their respective bouts. It's confirmed from a comic cover from the next fight. As much as I want to see Starro take the championship, there's just no way Wonder Woman wins this one. Normally I'd give this to Plastic Man, however, we know Lobo is juiced up on Bane's venom, which is what makes Bane ridiculously powerful. What is that going to do to Lobo? It's probably going to make him even more feral than he was before. He literally might just rip Plastic Man in half. Vixen gets her powers from the Red, which is another cosmic force, and the energy of all animal life in the universe. But Swamp Thing is the avatar of the Green. The power and the potential of the Green has been getting a lot of exploration in the Poison Ivy comics recently, and Swamp Thing will be fighting for every plant on the planet. Nothing will stand in his way. Cyborg overpowers Batwoman without much competition. He's a main player in Titans, and he just feels right for the next matchup. Batman versus Star Sapphire. Come on, guys, do I even need to say this one? Obviously, the winner is the Joker. Yes, it has been revealed in trailers and comic covers that Joker is in the tournament. We know Batman is off fighting all his different Robins who've been aged up to become Batmen in Night Fight. So Joker taking Bats' place in the bracket just makes the most sense. How does the clown win? Honestly, no idea. Maybe he loves violence and chaos so much that Star Sapphire's power of love has no effect on him. He's probably brought some completely broken artifact of power. Anyway, regardless, he definitely wins. Damian should win this one, in my opinion. But these days he's so much kinder than the sort of like kid assassin he was raised as. He just really wants to be a great superhero. I don't think his brutality is going to match Jason's anymore. So Red Hood wins this by beating him to a pulp. Sorry, Damien. As a new god and absolute tank, Barda should get much further in this tournament than I think she's going to, but Zatanna is on a whole other level. In her latest miniseries, at one point, she literally broke out of the panel, reversed, like, as in got out of the drawing, reversed time in the real world, so the comic pages went back to being the draft pages before color, and then just inserted herself back into the page to change the story and like win. That's just one example of some of the completely broken stuff she does, and that's why this round is hers. I love Metamorpho. His series was great, and he was great in Superman, but DC loves Harley. There's going to be some mischief to get her to win these fights. She's unfortunately gonna move on to the next round. Round 2. A lot of these matchups from this round are basically confirmed due to comic covers, but the winners aren't. So a lot of these matchups are going to happen. Superman will have to stop holding back because Captain Atom's punches are going to hit like newts. Supers won't enjoy this fight, but he's going to win it. I'm going to give this one to Jay. Guy just generally needs a smack, although he's been pretty tolerable in recent comics. But Superman versus a speedster as fast as the Flash in the next round, that's a fight that needs to happen. Like I said before, Aquaman is too strong. Did I mention that he can control water, which includes the blood in a person's body? Yeah. R.I.P. Hawkman. I have a feeling DC will want to take Lex further. Etrigan is the demon, though. To be honest, this is probably my most biased take because Etrigan is one of my favourite characters in DC, but he wins this. Wonder Woman versus Lobo will probably be the most brutal fight in the tournament, if I'm being honest. And if Diana doesn't win it, I would be absolutely baffled. Nature versus technology. It's no contest, really. He'll put up a hell of a fight, but Cyborg can't beat the Green. Joker versus Red Hood. This could be the fight of the whole event from a, comic reader standpoint. By all accounts, Red Hood should win, but in my opinion, his defeat will be bloody and brutal. My money is on Joker. This one is going to annoy me because how does Harley beat Zatanna? It doesn't make any sense. But she is going to win. DC's not going to miss the opportunity for the next matchup. It's just not going to happen. Round 3. Superman versus Jay Garrick's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. Superman will have to push his speed faster than he ever has, and Jay is going to go down swinging. Superman moves on to the next round. The Fires of Hell against every ocean in the universe. Weird magic mystical stuff is going to go on here, and unfortunately Etrigan will be extinguished. The King of Atlantis wins. I actually wouldn't be surprised if Diana concedes this round. I think she would see Swamp Thing as a better fit for the power on offer, especially if they're going to become or able to bend the whole universe to their will. And you know what? If she doesn't concede, Swamp Thing will be getting a decent amount of slicing and dicing, but he will take the fight on this one. And let's be fair, narratively, Harley should beat the living crap out of Mr. J. It makes sense for her character growth, and if anyone's earned the privilege to hurt Joker, it's her. But to get her to this point in the tournament to have this fight is going to require a hell of a lot of plot armor. So I think that Joker wins this round too, but it's not going to be fun. I think it will actually be really horrible to read. And moving on to round 4, Superman versus Aquaman. Superman has the ability to win this fight. It would be difficult as they're so evenly matched, even with Aquaman's power-ups, but he could do it. He won't, though. This is where Superman bows out. This much violence and anger has never been who he was, and it isn't who he wants to be. I mean, in his comics, he's been struggling on and off with red kryptonite poisoning, which makes him rage, and he really, really hates this stuff. I cannot see him letting go and taking this home in the end. He'll do some other Superman-y stuff, but this is the end for him in the tournament. Honestly, it just makes sense for him to let his friend who's already been a king take the crown. So yeah, I'm actually giving this round to Aquaman. And then, yeah, after seeing Joker beat up Red Hood and Harley in brutal ways, Swamp Thing's just going to absolutely annihilate Joker, take him down in an incredibly satisfying way, just absolutely eviscerate this man, because he deserves it. He deserves it. So the final round, and this is very different from I've seen what a lot of people are putting online. Aquaman versus Swamp Thing. I think it makes the most sense. We've got the cosmic forces battling out, the blue versus the green. I'm imagining at this point in the comic, in the tournament, things are going to go very, very cosmic. Stuff will get abstract. Avatars of these two building blocks of the universe are going to battle it out for the cosmos. There's only one winner, though. And Vessel for Omega Energy aside, the fight comes down to something much more fundamental than that. Plants may be able to outlive animals and disrupt technology, but no plant can live without water. Therefore, Aquaman becomes the King Omega, as strong as Darkseid and with the power to bend the universe to his will. Hopefully this king is a benevolent one. Okay, so those were my predictions for the bracket. Stay tuned over the next few months just to see how wrong or right I was. And if you've got any questions at all about DC All In or KO, just whack it in the comments below. I've read and collected the entire line at this point, so I'm more than ready for a proper info dump. Tune in, or maybe next week, while I cover the DC KO as it goes along. I'm going to see how on top of this I could be, but yeah, ideally I want to cover this thing all the way to the end. Whether that's once a week or once a month, we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you on the flip.